So I hope all of us here understand and know that animal testing is not good and how bad it is. But I don't really want to go over why it's bad and why it's like I want to go over why we don't need it anymore in today's day and age due to a number of reasons. And I will be sticking to the cosmetic side of the issue due to the due to the amount of information, due to the amount of testing and all that stuff. So yeah. So I know there's a lot of like information on animal testing and there's like a lot of different ways that it can be performed, but here is just a hasty generalization of how it's done. And this is of like what it is. And this is written by the Food and Drug Administration in their article, Cosmetic Safety Question and Answer, Animal Testing. They write, the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act does not specifically require the use of animals in testing for cosmetic safety, end quote. So the animals that are being performed on are typically rabbits, mice, guinea pigs, and rats. And some of these are household pets, like the guinea pigs. I guess they all could be, but most of the guinea pigs and the rabbits are pets commonly found in, or not commonly, but they're not uncommonly found in households. And in the article, the Food and Drug Administration had claimed that there is no federal requirement for the reason of animal testing for cosmetics products. So okay, what is animal testing and what makes it so bad? So I know some of us here are probably like, okay, when they do like cosmetics, are they just like drawing the makeup on the animal's face, or like what are they doing? So, but according to the Humane Society International, animal testing can be defined as, quote, refers to procedures performed on living animals for purposes of research into basic biology, accessing the effectiveness of new medicinal products, and testing the human health and/or environmental safety of consumer and industry products such as cosmetics, household cleaners, food additives, pharmaceutical and industrial agrochemicals, end quote. I know that's an insane amount of information, but as I said before, we'll be focusing on the cosmetic side of the issue. So some products that are considered to be cosmetics can be makeup, hair products, skincare, nail care, grooming aids because of their intended use to clean, and then fragrances. And all of these can be found, or can be products that have animal testing being done to deem if they're like safe or not. So to add on what I said above, because the FDA, or the Federal Drug Administration, does not require the testing of animals, and with the amount of research that we have from previous testing, we don't need it anymore as a society because we have stuff that's safe, we have stuff that's non-testing, we have all this stuff, and we don't need it anymore. So it is entirely possible because there are companies out there who are cruelty free, and whether or not statements like, for an example, Fairlife claimed that they were cruelty free, but then it came out that they actually abused their cows. So yeah, there's like you can claim that you are this and whatever, but they will also do research to back it up. So if you do ever want to switch to the like products that don't use animal testing, then there are ways out there, and they do go back and they do try to prove that you are correct. So what makes it so bad? And it's not the fact that they're testing these animals, it's how the tests are being performed. So, and to go back to the Humane Society International article, they also list some ways that animal testing can be performed. So it can be through, quote, forced chemical exposure, exposure to high levels of chemicals, prolonged periods of physical restraint, food and water deprivation, killing taken to excessive measures such as decapitation, and more, end quote. So some of the practices that are used are obviously unethical and are not logical for most cases, especially in the world of in the case of with cosmetics. And there's no reason for them to deprive them, decapitate them, and any of this for the purpose of testing. Because here's the thing, with the cosmetics, who is gonna like go, okay, I'm gonna okay, like the food and water deprivation, I'm not gonna go, okay, I'm just not gonna drink water for 5 days and then I'm gonna go eat my makeup or I'm gonna go eat this other thing. Like some of the measures that the tests will go to is insane. And so I know some of you here are probably like, Caitlin, this is craziness. Like, how else are they supposed to test and realize that something is bad? And that's a really valid point. But that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand isn't the fact that animal testing is bad. It's the fact that we don't need it anymore in the cosmetic side because we have enough information already on animal testing and there's no reason for us to continue testing new products. If tomorrow, say, Dove releases this new product and there's this chemical compound or chemical something in it that's never been tested before and they don't know if it's safe or not, obviously they can test it, but if there isn't, there's no reason for them to go back and test it. So there are solutions that are already put in place, and so some alternatives to, rather than using live animals to perform tests on, they have millions of other ways. So the Humane Society of the United States put together a list to show the alternatives of animal testing. They mention how there are nearly 50 alternatives to animal testing and then multiple benefits of choosing the alternatives rather than the normal animal testing. And because some of them, like some of the benefits are, cost is so much cheaper because you don't have to like create the mice, you don't have to house the mice, you don't have to do all this stuff. It's because some of the things that they'll do is they have like genes that'll mimic a human gene, and then they'll try the chemical with it and see if it'll do any like gene mutations, or maybe they'll do like all this cool stuff that they can do. And it's not unethical, and the live animal is not having their gene being manipulated or anything. And okay, so to sum everything up that I said in this speech, we went over the definition, why it's bad, a reason, or like things that people might be like, oh, I disagree with you in this sense, and I hope I persuaded you to believe the real reason why, and some other solutions other companies have done and other ways to test if products are safe or not out there. And I also hope you understand that there is no ethical or logical reason to continue the use of using animals to test for cosmetics because of either the amount of information out there, like I've said a million times before in this thing, or also because of the fact that there are other ways to test and deem if your product is safe or not. And what happens if your pet was next? Would you think of this differently or would you not?